Should you build a house right now? Concerned about high prices in the housing market? At the end of this video, I'll give you 4 important things to consider so you'll have a better understanding of how home builders are seeing things right now, as well as considerations for you to think about if building a home is still right for you. I'm Dan Nodge, founder of Emmett Leo Homes, a custom home builder and your insider into the world of building and redesigning luxury homes. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe if you like the content by clicking the red subscribe button below and that notification bell right next to it to make sure you get the newest videos as soon as they come out. Building a house can be one of the most challenging yet rewarding experiences of people's lives. It's often the largest financial transaction that most people will spend at one time. However, prices have skyrocketed, materials in shortages, and trades are at an all-time low as people continue to get paid to stay home. Which is why a lot of people are asking, should I build a house right now with prices being so high, or should I wait? Will prices go down or up? How much more expensive is it to build a home right now? So first off, yes, building a house right now will cost you more than it would have before COVID. Building a house right now is harder with the material shortages. Some tradesmen are continuing to choose to take the government handouts. This created labor shortages, with most building material going up and some lumber products rising over 300 to 400% at its highest. It appeared that at the peak of the COVID pricing, our home builds increased 30 to 35% more over the entire project. This meant that we as builders have had to reconsider and reevaluate every material we were using in order to be the best advocate for our clients. So yes, it is tougher and more expensive, but that wasn't the question. Should I build a house right now is different. The end of 2020 saw wood prices start to go up, and in 2021, we saw them at the highest they have ever been. They have since come down significantly. With that, the biggest issue right now in building homes is the insanely long lead times required to get accurate pricing and materials delivered. So here are 4 things to consider right now if you are asking yourself about building a home with lumber prices and construction material being so high. 1. Have you considered alternative building methods? 2. Have you already designed your home and what are the costs to change it? 3. Can you lock in a price? What happens when the prices go down? How long are you giving yourself to plan is number 4. Have you considered alternative building methods? So the conventional way to build a home uses the most available and certainly some of the most cost-effective materials. But with lumber the way it is, are there better alternatives now? One of the first considerations we looked at was building the entire home with concrete. Concrete is a solid, readily available product that creates a quiet, airtight structure when done properly. Being a luxury home builder, our standard is to use ICF or insulated concrete forms for our foundations and sometimes even the entire house. 5 years ago, that was a 15 to 25% increase over conventional foundations and one that very few people did here in Winnipeg. Now with lumber prices being at their peak, it was cheaper to build with ICF block and concrete. Not only that, a fully ICF home is a completely different home experience with less noise coming in, tighter wall systems, and a material that will not rot over the long term. The only problem is that if too many people start buying the blocks, then they go up in price, which we saw happen. We've also had some people try other building materials like straw bales, entire foam systems, and lightweight industrial steel. Of those 3, I think that the only viable option right now where we live is the foam wall systems, as industrial steel has rocketed in price and the straw bales are simply not scalable at this time. Other products to consider are those that may not be highly used in your area, whether it's because your local building codes make them harder to pass or simply the manufacturer is not pushing them in your area. Where we live, we're still under the 2010 Canadian National Building Code. That's 11 years ago, almost 12 now. That means that companies that have innovated better practices and follow building science may still not be able to pass their products in scale where we are. Our city does, however, allow individual applications for exceptions, and that allows us to find products that may not have been accepted in 2010, but individually grant them if we have the proper insurance. Have you already designed your home, and what are the costs to change it? Are you planning to build with a track builder? Did you choose your plans from a select few and weren't able to deviate from the initial design? If so, chances are the builder is not set up to make massive changes to their plans, their infrastructure, or their building systems. That means that they're going from a wood frame home to a concrete ICF home is probably out of the question. Even changing sheeting materials might be a change order. If that is the kind of builder you're building with, then make sure you have a cancellation clause in there, as well as understand the escalation clause. If you have already designed your home, it might be hard to get those plans amended. If you had them custom made, this shouldn't be that big of an issue, but you'll need time and money to do it. Furthermore, your builder or draftsman will have to charge you for the entire time that it takes to estimate, research, and make those necessary changes. Now, wood prices have come down a bit, so this may or may not be a viable option. If your entire home went from $200,000 in building material, but it'll only cost you 10 grand to change, and you're saving the additional 90, then it's probably worth it. Can you lock in a price? What happens when the price goes down? If you're watching this, you've probably seen prices skyrocket. However, there are still some tract builders that may be able to lock in a price for you. There are builders out there that were able to buy entire home packages prior to the price increase and are sitting on a bunch of material. This will not be the case for custom builders. Sure, they could charge you a crazy contingency, but who wants to live with that over their heads the entire time? Alternatively, if you are entering into a contract with a builder, what happens when the prices go up or down? Fixed price contracts generally have an escalation clause that say if prices rise a certain percentage, then the builder can charge you an extra amount due to unforeseen circumstances. As a builder, I understand this clause. And when I empathize with the client, I can understand how scary it would be to get an extra build for 20 grand. Why even sign a fixed price contract then? If that is the case, maybe you can negotiate to have a clause in there that says if the price goes down a certain percentage, you can get money back. Access to money. Because the banks and governments are focused on getting people to stimulate the economy, the lending rates are incredibly low at the moment. This means that it may be cheaper now to borrow any money you need to finance a home build versus more expensive later. Make sure you do the math on the amount you need because the material may be cheaper later, but your lending rates may be higher. Not only that, your ability to qualify may decrease as the banks or insurers get tighter with their lending practices when they are over-leveraged and want to slow their exposure. How long are you giving yourself to plan? The final consideration is that most people want things to happen immediately. They want to build now. Some clients try to rush in because of some opportunity or another. This creates costly mistakes. If you're able to take your time in the planning stage, then you will make the construction phase a lot easier, smoother, and cheaper. We typically allot 6 to 8 months for the planning phase for one of our homes, and this allows us to make the necessary changes needed without creating large implications in the construction phase. This is incredibly important because lead times are so long right now that we are finding that a lot of material has to be ordered before you even break ground or months in advance from the time we used to need to get them. With what appears to be the tail end of the major COVID pricing squeeze, it seemed that the longer you wait, the better. However, with such a sharp drop in price right now, it seems that with interest rates really low and the availability of borrowing so high, now might just be the perfect time to start planning your build. What are your thoughts? Are you considering building right now? And if you are, what are your main concerns? Make sure to put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.